how to use the insert math equation feature in Canvas, as this is what we are going to primarily be using throughout the year, especially as we interact digitally. So what is really important here is that you recognize that you're not expected to understand any of the math or the chemistry that I'm about to show you. Merely just pay attention to using the equation editor itself. So for instance, let's say you were confronted with a problem like this. It says solve the following problem using dimensional analysis. Again, you don't need to know what that is right now, just relax. Showing all of your work, and it says use insert math equation units and use significant figures. So if a cross-country athlete runs a 5K and takes 18 minutes to finish the race, what is the speed, ran, and feet per second? And then it gives you some extra information there. So these questions are going to be text entry boxes, but no one wants you to write 5K divided by 18. I mean, that looks terrible. Okay, we can do better than that, especially because they give us a tool with which to do better than that. So if you go over here, and I'm not going to use any of the correct terms because frankly, I don't know them, and you click these 3 stacked little dots, this gives you a lot more options. And the one that we're going to be interested in today is this one down here that looks like a square root function. And you'll notice if you hover over it, it says insert math equation. And that's what we're going to do. So this is going to be the most useful tool for you. What I'm realizing right now is you're going to want to be able to either see the problem, so you can actually scroll and make that happen, and kind of arrange your screen that way. So I can kind of frame in my question so I can see it, or write it down on your notebook so you have the question details before you go into the editor. But this works. I can see the question. I can see my my editor. So I'm just going to show you some of the features that are going to be the most useful here. One of the main ones is definitely this fraction button here. So if I click down in the equation editor itself and hit the fraction button, boom, it provides me with a fraction, and I can start filling some things in. So 5K, that means 5 kilometers. And then it's going to be ran in 18 minutes. So there I go. Okay, so there's my fraction. And then to continue with the dimensional analysis, I can keep adding little features. So I just added a multiplication sign. Here you'll see you're going to hit most of your basic features here. Here are all of your basic mathematical operators. The fraction is going to be super useful. Like I said, superscript and subscript, you're going to use those constantly in chemistry. A couple of other good menus to see. The Greek one, we'll use delta, for instance, right here. Arrows, we'll use those when we get into chemical reactions. I like to use that one specifically. Miscellaneous, there's some good stuff there, specifically the degree symbol if we're talking about degrees Celsius. And I'm sure other things will become relevant later, but again, I'm just trying to show you how to find these things. So I'll just keep going. If I am going to convert kilometers into miles, well, I know that 5 kilometer race is the same thing as 3.11 miles, and you can see that I can just navigate anywhere throughout here, which makes this really simple. So I'll just keep going. I don't know why I made this problem so long. So 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And then I need to convert my minutes. So I know that 1 minute, same thing as 60 seconds. Again, the focus here is not on what the math actually is, but on using these tools to create a quality looking product. And that's the most important thing here, because especially with what's going on in the world today, and just I feel like a lot more of our time is going to be spent doing things that we haven't had to do before, it's really important that we are able to communicate with each other clearly. So that's what we're going for here, is just clarity. So I forgot, for instance, to make this a fraction. Well, that's fine. I can just highlight it. Oh, well, that didn't work as well as I thought, but I think you get my point. So that would be feet per second. Okay, whatever. Again, it doesn't matter what the math actually is. Once you're happy with it, you can hit insert equation, and there it is. And I like to resize it just because I'm a little bit challenged in the vision area of my life, and I like to be able to see it. So let's say you finish your equation, you look at it, and you go, oh shoot, I messed up. You know, I meant to say 15.20 miles, because that will matter at some point. If you just select it and then go back and hit the insert equation or insert math editor again, it'll bring the same thing up, and you can go back in and add that extra 0 or what have you. Okay, so there's that. I want to show you one more example. And this is what your assignment is going to look like, is just creating absolute nonsense equations. I'm going to have you replicate a few just to practice using the different tools. So literally we're not solving this or anything. All we're going to do is just insert an equation. Okay, and again, I like to drag this down so that I can see, or to the side. Come on now. Well, this might be a good example of a time where you'd want to have taken a picture or something beforehand. It's not perfect, people, but we're doing what we can. So let's see. I can see that I've got, well, half my material here. So I've got a fraction. I've got a square root, but it's got this little 3 right here. So I'm going to, it's a cube root. So I'm going to select this one. So I'll put a 3 and then an X. And I know that you don't actually need me to solve all this out, but that's what I'm doing. So here's another example where we've got parentheses. So if you just hit the parentheses by using your keyboard, it'll create parentheses for you to fill in. So what I have, y squared. So here's an example where I want to use my superscript. Okay, to get out of the superscript, just hit your side arrow, and that'll bring you back down. And then I think I had plus, and then what was the other thing? So this is an unrealistic situation where you don't normally have to do this, but whatever. Z to the 8th. Normally what you'll be doing is solving a problem in your notebook. You'll have all the work down, and then you're going to just recreate it in Canvas so that it can be shared with your teacher, if that's myself or Mrs. McKinney. And then I'm just going to go down below, and what do I have? A1 plus A2. Sure, let's go with that. A, and then subscript plus A subscript 2. Again, if I make a mistake, I can fix it. So I'm going to insert that equation. I'm going to make it bigger because that makes me happy. Looks pretty much the same, and we're going to call that good. Okay. So again, the whole idea here is just messing around with that insert equation editor, becoming comfortable with it so that that is not something that slows you down as we progress throughout the year.